Hey, QQ here. Over my time being a Z-list E-celeb, I've learned something about myself, and that is I absolutely suck at hosting streams. That's alright though, because I have a friend who administers a TeamSpeak server. So, in order to post streaming content on this channel, I'll be recording out of that server. This content will naturally be a bit more raw than my usual videos. It's gonna be largely unedited, off the cuff, and it'll feature whoever's in the server at the time's hot take on things. You'll be able to tell it's a stream because it'll have the Vivian James holding Mountain Dew and Doritos in the corner, and it will have DDM stream in the title. Thanks for watching! The Talos principle will just not shut the fuck up. It's the video game equivalent of a flatulent, pseudo-academic posturing on morality and evolution and ethics at some incredibly dull soiree. It lasts almost 20 hours. 20 hours! 20 hours of obvious, tired, first-year philosophy student navel-gazing bullshit. 20 hours of puzzles. 20 hours of fucking puzzles? Puzzles are fine. Puzzles can be really interesting, but for 20 hours? 20 hours of rearranging objects and timing jumps and waiting for all the pieces to move together? Smoke my pole, the Talos principle. You're at least twice as long as you should be. And you know whose fault this is? Gamers. It's gamers' fault. It's gamers' fault because everything shit and awful in popular culture is gamers' fault. It's gamers' fault because they demand content and value for money on a terminally fucking stupid, so they equate those things with raw playtime. Rather than dragging its impressive arse for almost a day, the Talos principle would have been a better bang-to-buck ratio if it lasted about 5 hours. But gamers, they're more entitled than a fucking Persian god king, and feel slighted if a developer dares charge them for a title that won't distract them from their sexless lives for at least a week. And of course, when gamers get oh my god, just so angry that not every video game is exactly how they'd like it, they take to the internet and threaten to rape everyone in the world. So that's why the Talos principle is long and shitty. As a result, gamers are violent consumers with brains that have been dropped and got stuck on Black Friday mode. Also, developers are cowards and just make whatever they think will sell. And the gaming press chucks high scores at anything that looks a bit different or smart or cool, because they're all bored and would rather be reviewing movies.
Well, he's not wrong there.
Forgetting discussions about length, here's an idea. Instead of ruminating or trying to ruminate over big ideas like God, existence, man versus machine, why don't games just have decent human characters? Why not just write a really good story about a person or two people? Why has good writing in games been conflated with vague, half-questioning pop philosophy? Look at BioShock, Spec Ops, Hotline Miami, Deus Ex, Papers, Please. These games are all about something, but not someone, and ultimately feel hollow and masturbatory, more like a thought exercises than proper storytelling.
What's chess? What's chess?
Conversely, Actual Sunlight, Kentucky Road Zero, Sword and Sorcery, and L.A. Noire are about people. People who can think and react and change. People we can relate to. And the best part, human characters with defined personalities and broad statements about philosophy or whatever. They're not mutually exclusive. Look at The Wire. Seriously, look at it. Look at it for fuck's sake. Every character in that is a person, a solidly characterized, plausible person. But still, that show, as much as it's about or Omar, etc. It's also about the drug war, social disparity,
I was just
bureaucracy.
busy inseminating John Kelly. Don't mind me.
Take your sorrow and turn it into anger.
The Principality of Zeon has declared war on the Earth.
Wow.
We're reading a post about the Talos principle and how gamer entitlement has caused it to be 4 times as long as it should be.
Well, gamers should stop being entitled, and what they should do is they need to spend their money on more social justice games so these problems won't happen.
This argument is so ridiculous. He outright says that if gamers don't get their way, they'll threaten to rape people on the internet.
People threaten to rape others on the internet just for the lulz, let alone if they get their way or not. They do that as a matter of course.
Why
This
is
known
it?
since the fucking 80s.
Oh no, not rape threats. Next they'll be making death threats. Oh wait, I know who this is.
Yeah,
Who?
it's the ghost of Christmas present coming to kick your ass.
Well, shall you let QQ finish, or did he finish?
I'm going to wind it back to where we were talking about The Wire, and I'm going to have to try and match my pretentious voice again.
Mm-hmm.
Look at The Wire. Seriously, look at it. Look at it for fuck's sake. Every character in that is a person, a solidly characterized, plausible person. But still, that show, as much as it's about McNulty, Bunk, and Omar, it's also about the drug war, social disparity, bureaucracy. It's about nebulous America, but explored through a cast of rounded human beings. In the Talos principle, you play as a robot. So straight away, meh, who gives a fuck? The world you're in isn't even real. It's a computer simulation. The only conversations you have are with computers. Yes, there are voice diaries and journal entries, but there are no interactions. No people, no characters. All you have are these vaporous, well, you know, maybe
my head.
kinds of discussions about the
Phil, we're
basics of
streaming.
philosophy.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll wind it back again.
Thank you.
No, fuck you. First off, oh, there's only robots. Nah. So I guess Blade
Wait, let
Runner
me
is
interrupt this
terrible.
bit that you're about to write into. He's actually trying to shill for actual sunlight, Kentucky Route Zero, sword and sorcery. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
And LA Noir. That is pathetic. Those were.
Are you actually reading the article?
Yes.
He
How
actually
were
He's
they?
did
shilling
not.
for his indie friends. That's what this is. Get the fuck
He
out of
did
here.
not. He did not
The-
like Sunset. Surprisingly.
The
That
only
was a
game
surprise,
from
but
this
still.
that I did like was LA Noire that he listed.
Look at the wire. Give me a fucking break.
Anyway, QQ, let's be uninterrupted this time.
Yes, there are voice diaries and journal entries, but there are no interactions, no people, no characters. All you have are these vaporous, well, you know, maybe kinds of discussions about the basics of philosophy. The Talos principle purports to be about humanity, but never puts a human on screen. Instead, you have a robot, some computers, some puzzles, and a virtual reality. It's a game where you play as nothing, talk to nothing, doing nothing, inside of nothing. And unless you've never read a book or seen a film or sat in class that had even the basest pretensions of philosophical debate, you don't learn a thing from the Talos principle. It's just a bunch of metal shit bumping around inside Tron.
It's just a bunch of metal shit bumping around inside Tron, y'all.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go shill for all these damn games that don't even have any gameplay or anything of redeeming quality
What?
because
Pause.
I'm a pretentious
I'll
little
pause.
shit
One
that
correction.
can't even figure out how to play a fucking video game. Yeah.
One correction. LA Noir does actually have some gameplay to it, although it's not that good, and the port is disastrous. This guy is being an elitist prick, whining and bitching about the philosophical content, even if it's lacking, being for a beginner level. Guess what? Games need beginner level stuff as well as intermediate and advanced. He doesn't like that beginner level shit. Maybe it's because his pretentious ass is a bit beyond that. Maybe he should search out games that are worth a damn and will challenge him rather than content himself onto this track.
He did another one recently. This is actually what made me notice him. Is he wrote an article in Killscreen Daily, which was an echo of Kieran Gillian. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
know it's
It was
Gillian.
it was an echo on his piece about new games journalism, but with like a whole bunch of social justice stuff thrown in too.
Just to add to it, it's like, guess what, asshole? You can say whatever you want about your experience. You can treat it as a fucking travel diary, but people don't have to pay you a goddamn dime for your horse shit. And you don't like it? Maybe you should write something that's actually entertaining to people. Or maybe you should write something that's actually informative of people. That might help. If you can't get either way, guess what? People don't want to end up buying your shit.
Do you want me to read his other article
Oh, I'm
too?
sorry,
I won't
but
do it in
all
a
of
pretentious
that would
voice.
require a little thing we like to call effort, brains, and oh yeah, having a fucking point.
Because sadly, this was pretty much wine.
No. Let me summarize what it was.
Ow. Stop.
Pretty much. Like, it doesn't
Pretty
even-
much, though, I'd have to agree.
It doesn't even have a point. Most of these articles, I've read a million of these stupid things. They all go the same way. It's I explained
maybe-
before.
Dan, maybe you shouldn't be looking for a purpose or a point or like going from A to B, and you should just embrace the moment, and that's how you get these unique perspectives
Shut up,
out.
John.
That's what.
So
one
here's his
cares.
other article. I'm gonna read this out because I think you'll like this one too. So that one
Okay,
was
go for
called.
it.
That last one was called "Shut Up: The Talos Principle." This one's called "Speak Up: The Order 1886."
What?
Wait,
What?
please, don't tell me this person is honest to Christ trying to defend that crap.
Yes.
Well, it makes sense. He likes short
Idrin, pass
games.
me the bug
Wait.
shot in the 12
Am
gauge.
I
no
hearing
longer-
this right? Speak up. The order. What?
1886.
Speak up. So
Oh
says-
no, he's really going there, isn't he?
he's really
Idrin,
going there.
No.
Wow.
Before anyone says anything else,
Let me guess.
Idrin,
He calls it revolutionary, doesn't he?
Let
Please tell
me
me he's
just
not
read
stupid
the
enough to.
article.
Give
So-
me the fucking buckshot and the 12 gauge first. I would like to end myself before I'm subjected to this.
Link that shit. Link it.
Well, he doesn't like her story. He
So
does
the
like Firewatch.
The
Go.
intro in italics says, this article is part of a series called Shut Up Video Games, in which critic Ed Smith invites games old and new to
Genre
pipe down or otherwise. In this edition, he looks at the genre-defining third-person action-adventure, The Order
That is not
1886.
a third person. Oh my god, I just want to put him right upside the head. I tell you what, whenever you have a game that has technology from the fucking 80s and the arcades, which was stuff like Dragon Slayer, that's already been done before, and you're trying to dress it up and make it pretty with the same goddamn mechanics, and you call it Order 1886, you have a boring ass fucking story that no one gives a fuck about, and then you try to call it revolutionary or even say genre defying, get the fuck out. It's more like your goddamn new fag who hasn't looked up your gaming history.
Like, my god, at least fucking Dragon's Lair had the animations of Don Bluth behind it. This ain't got shit.
So this is Ed Smith. Am I saying that name right?
Yeah. You want
This
me
is
to
Ed-
read it in the preacher voice? I could do it.
Do it.
I was
Give
thinking,
me
since
one.
this was a bit longer, I might just speed through it in my speedy voice.
You want to do it? You do it. I can do it though.
Go ahead.
Ah. Give me a moment. It's no masterpiece. It's the story of immortal knights fighting werewolves and vampires in steampunk London. But the Order 1886 from 2015 is still more than video game critics deserve. Its low review scores and petulant detractors are proof, once again, that games could never become art, whatever that would mean, because the people playing them and the people responsible for curating them simply wouldn't allow it. Verily, no one who reviewed the Order during its launch last year has a bloody clue. From complaining about its length, its closed, straightforward levels, and its unwillingness to let the player explore, critics cited the same handful of complaints they throw at every game they can't be bothered to consider. Even the praise leveled at the Order. Great atmosphere, solid gunplay. Creative weapon design was recycled air. It's a sorry state when a game as uninterested in tradition and form as The Order can only be viewed through the antique framework of magazine video game review. And when critics have grown so smug and apathetic, only brazen, moist-eyed complacence like everybody's gone to the rapture from 2015 can get them to think, even for a second, about what they're saying. The Order cannot only be viewed through the antique framework of a magazine video game review. There are so many fantastic moments in The Order 1886. The one-on-one knife fight with the Alpha Werewolf, standing over the airship ballroom, identifying assassins disguised as guards by way of the discrepancies on their counterfeit uniforms. Igraine is a fantastic character. The ending, considerably more muted and sober compared to what could have been, is a rare example in the gaming industry of restraint and somberness over spectacle. Not that the game struggles with spectacle. Ready at Dawn Studios quite rightly picked up an award from the Visual Effects Society, and I can see why. Where so many games conflate visual luster with colors, wide open spaces, and fantastical expression. Ready at Dawn is fascinating with cold, old interiors. I've spent a lot of my life inside English churches and the great halls at country seats, and the same woody smell and fragile silence that hangs heavy in those places permeates The Order, especially during scenes around the Knights Round Table. At times, The Order lapses into rote third-person shooter or horror game style, but largely I'm impressed and relieved with how defiant it remains throughout, refusing to emulate the many other games based around guns and monsters. I've never played anything like The Order 1886, and I don't mean in the dumb, false Saints Row way. This isn't a sandbox game where every wacky, supposedly idiosyncratic idea has been researched and focus tested, and is remarkable only to the kind of people who think the Joker from The Dark Knight is a complicated character from the year 2008. I've bemoaned in this article the use of cliches, so forgive me in advance, but The Order is a true original. Video games are often created to slot neatly into genres: shooter, horror, interactive story. But like its antagonistic hybrids, The Order refutes easy classification. That willful lack of straight identity meant, essentially, that it was too complicated for game critics. Not the individuals, mind you, they're smart people, but the field in which they work. Individuality in video games are a square peg in a round hole. We credit work to studios. We judge all games by the same or similar criteria. We refer to artists with the dehumanizing titles of developer and designer, and even worse, dev. The lack of diversity in the video game industry is visible from space, but beyond precluding women, gay people, and people of color, there's a surreptitious effort smuggled through customs under the rubric of consumer-friendly or matter-of-fact writing to homogenize and compartmentalize video games. Everything must have a term and a place. Everything must fit at least some of our pre-existing notions about what games are or should be. So when a game joyfully undermines the convention of so many genres, a game like The Order, which cannot be easily separated out or discussed like one would discuss a household appliance, it goes misunderstood and forgotten. Exactly what's caused this opposition. An opposition expressed through unremarkable, non-confrontational language, but an opposition nonetheless. To heterogeneity, I could only speculate. It probably has something to do with games still being created by white men, to be reviewed by white men, and then either bought or despised by white men. I'd say the gaming industry's homogeneousness begins at race and gender, but it begins beyond those things, leading to a culture so blinkered and small that any contrary ideas, even if they come from white, straight, Western guys, must be chased away. We've delineated the independent space as suitable for exploration and experimentation, but big budget games are simply not allowed to effectuate and change. That would challenge our stratifications. It would fuck with our minds. Hence the magic of The Order 1886. Hence the tragedy of its reviews. Something is going on, and until it's identified and challenged, great, inventive, big budget games will continue to go unsung.
The director of The Order is a white guy. I don't know if he's straight, but
in summation, the guy's a
there's
retard.
two directors, but
Not only in summation, he's a retard, but it's clear he doesn't know what video games are. He doesn't know anything.
He also
about
doesn't know
goddamn
that it's been
history.
done in the goddamn 80s, the 90s, and 2000s as well.
And
Oh,
it's-
Order
So-
18. Wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait.
like,
Oh wait, I didn't know.
You guys are being way too harsh.
Work.
You guys are being way too harsh. Order 1886 was a movie, wasn't it?
ha.
So,
Okay, is he even
I
good as a
come
movie?
back, and now
No.
we move on to another article already. I was actually going to ask for the last one, the Talos principle. Did he actually try making the argument that it's a video game, yada yada, it doesn't matter?
Actually, there was one point I want to make about that. I actually did watch a cinematic cut of Order 1886, and
It would make a better
plays, beat per beat, it plays like a blockbuster film. But as far as film goes, it was trash.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the Talos principle, his argument was more or less this. This would be my summary of it. His argument was, this game is basically a bunch of pop philosophy that I didn't find interesting at all. It's mostly a puzzle game, and puzzles are okay in small measures, but this is just way too many puzzles. The game's 20 hours long, and that's about 4 to 5 times as long as it should be. The
Then
reason
don't
for
play
this
it for 20 straight hours, idiot.
The reason for this is because gamers are entitled and they demand long games. And if they don't get what they ask for, then they go and they make rape threats on the internet.
Wait, did he literally say that?
Yes.
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 He literally said that. That wasn't a parody because that's
That was
normally
not
what.
a parody.
Goddamn.
Wow. So
Yeah, that's something where see, this is something that I've noticed about Gamergate style of argumentation, right? Basically what they'll do is they'll just basically, instead of arguing the point, they'll make an absurd caricature. Yes, I know that SJWs are absurd, but they will make an even more absurd caricature of what they're actually
They'll
making
straw
fun
man
of.
like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to straw man. They've already got the truth. Stop with your goddamn narratives. Point out the truth. How hard is that?
But I gotta insert my patriarchy theory every 2 minutes. Because it's
God,
funny.
don't even get me started on that shit. Yes, a
Yeah.
lot of them do pull that shit. And yes, I mock them whenever they do. Just like I mock them for rape culture, just like I mock them for online harassment, just like I mock them for a whole other host of issues which most of them have no fucking clue on, yet they try to deign to speak for me. But at the same time, I do take the effort to actually not strawman their arguments. And whenever I fuck up, I will apologize to that and make certain that I'm representing them correctly, if only to destroy their fucking arguments with no mercy.
at first, earlier, I was misunderstanding, and I thought he was trying to say, "Oh, video games are shit because you're not actually doing it." Like the one guy for Rock Band article for Polygon.
Nope, he's not making that argument.
Games are just mashing buttons on keyboards. Let me tell you about how this is pointless as I mash buttons on keyboards.
Yeah, okay. So the argument does go a little bit more nuanced after that. Basically, he says the rest of the article is about how good writing in games has become synonymous with doing pop philosophy, and that
While doing
there
it
are
himself, by the way.
Yeah, there are. He basically categorizes games into two categories that exist: games that have "quote unquote" good writing because they use pop philosophy. He says Bioshock, Spec Ops, Hotline Miami, Deus Ex, and Papers, Please are examples of these. And then the other thing that he divides them into is games that have "quote unquote" good writing because they have good characters and storytelling. And for this, he uses Actual Sunlight, Kentucky Road Zero, Sword and Sorcery, and L.A. Noir as examples.
The
LA
sad joke
Noire
is,
was
in both
odd.
cases, they have bad characterization, although certain cases are better than others.
At least he's not shown for Undertale.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he
Let me guess,
basically
he's showed for Undertale too.
No, but he did show for a Firewatch. He showed for Kanan Lynch, of all things. And he showed for, what else?
Please tell me that you have found an example of him saying something about Deus Ex, where it's Human Revolution or the original, because if he said anything to the effect of "Shut up, X," then it's time to tear him a new one.
Look,
I
I'm already
think he
talking about
did.
with these movies as games. I mean, Kane Lynch is clearly a cinematic release that Roger Ebert gave 3.5 stars. He would have given it 4, but it was just a little too much on the exploitation side.
Fucking funny.
Oh yes, his final complaint about the Talos principle is because it's all robots and computer simulations and everything like that. He really didn't care about it
Why?
because those aren't good characters.
Well, good
What?
to know that the fucking Cyborg and
I-
the fucking Alien series would also make his shit list then.
I'm gonna play a
He
video game, and
mentioned Deus Ex, the original, for quote unquote good writing.
I'm gonna be using a system that is the most high scale, up to the edge technology, and I'm gonna complain that there's sci-fi elements in it.
So this is this is an excerpt. In the Talos principle, you play as a robot, so straight away, meh, who gives a fuck? The world you're in isn't even real; it's a computer simulation, and the only conversations you have are with computers. There you go.
Just kill me.
I don't get it. Why are they drawn to video games in the first place?
Because they're popular and they make money. They want to leech off the money.
But he
Well,
doesn't
it's
have
a
ads on
medium.
his blog.
It's a medium that is fucking. Excuse me. It's a medium that's young enough to suffer from very, very large self-esteem issues.
I think the other reason could be just he could be going for the art aspect, which games are now considered art.
Shut up, Sunset. Shut up, Hotline Miami 2. Keep talking, PT. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Basically, what I get from all his choices is if the game lets you make decisions and wander around, he doesn't like it. Whereas if it's a tightly packed narrative that just is completely linear, then he does. That's the generalization, of course, but that just seems to be what I'm getting from this.
So what he likes is being handheld the entire way and having the story told to him.
Shut up.
He liked
her
Gone Home,
story.
though, so,
Well, of course he likes fucking Gone Home. He's a fucking hipster.
Keep talking glitch hikers.
So,
But don't you remember? Gone Home was an amazing story because it had teenage lesbians. As you know, a teenage lesbian and a
Coda, it
adult
doesn't even
lesbian.
hold up to a young adult novel that was written in the late 90s. It's on par with the crap they were selling in like the 70s.
Rain, I have to play devil's advocate here.
No. You want a
So
good
what you're saying-
No. I'm going to stop you there. You want a good example? Go read Fingersmith.
So what you're saying is that video games haven't even caught up with the 70s yet?
No, they're at
Man.
the 70s. In terms of books, yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What do you mean by what? That
Man,
art,
we need to advance this art form more quickly so that we can catch up to
the
today's
70s
novels.
was one of the most 70s culture was one of the most raunchiest and exploitive
I'll get you the
times.
book. Give me a sec. I don't remember
Like,
the title.
In all forms of media, it was really a case of how to put it, like what SJWs would call edgelord.
Yeah.
It was the era of sleaze, and that's what made it cool.
Yeah.
Of course, the 80s was better because we had metal and large steroid-addled people with giant abs and shit, which was manly as fucking totally not fucking gay.
His earliest article was "Shut Up, The Last of Us." He has not done
Yeah,
anything
thanks
about
to NeoGAF, The Last of Us is kind of
You can still cite plenty of examples in the 70s, including a lot of emerging genres that, let's just take movies. There was a lot of drug use. There was a lot of books that had a lot of crazy ideas written and published into them. There was a lot of, look, let's just take a look at genres of movies that came out. You had blaxploitation films, which are all about being as racist as possible. And I mean, really hardcore racist. You had vigilante revenge films. You had rape revenge films. You had the emergence of the slasher genre. I mean, hell, that was the same year Deliverance won the cameo. Didn't win Best Picture that year. Was nominated for it. That was the same year that Stanley Kubrick made Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that one. I saw that one.
Yeah, that one's worse.
Oh.
That
okay.
was actually an example of a. Wait, did that one even get? No, it didn't.
That ending sucked.
Another one. Ralph Bash. That was some of Ralph Bashy's raunchiest
Oh yeah, I've
works.
seen Fritz the Cat. Yeah.
Fritz the Cat. What was the other one?
Fritz the Cat's not that raunchy.
Well, it was still
I mean, it's edgy. Sure, it has the
edgy.
yeah.
There's that word again.
again.
That one you might actually be able to call edgy
hilariously,
legitimate,
even though everyone thinks he's racist now, that's an SJW movie. It just is. It's a Black Lives Matter movie, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Where the video games? Where the video? Oh! I can't breathe.